Well, when he said before, he said, do you want me to aim at the body or into the spaces? And we said,
Yeah. Let me check my health insurance.
Yeah, we said, aim for the spaces,
Yeah.
not knowing it was that fast. Tom, nice to see you again in our podcast. We're out here, beautiful weather, as always, and we are in this episode going to recap your recent tournament where you got the trophy in the UK, and we will discuss playing on the right because it was the first tournament you played on the right, and we will talk about upcoming trip to Portugal, what we're going to work on and how we're going to plan that, and a little bit about what's going on with the paddle school in terms of our monthly challenge, defending the glass, which is not an easy subject for a lot of people. So why don't we kick it off with your tournament? How do you feel?
Still buzzing.
Still buzzing from the result.
No, it's funny because last time we were actually sat here in the garden in the sunshine, we were talking about right versus left-sided player, weren't we? And
you were talking about moving to the right, and now you've moved to right, you've played your first tourney and victory already.
Well, no, I was thinking more, it's funny because we talked about moving to the right and how I think you would prefer to play on the left and how it's a bit more physical. Yeah. And now you're sitting here with a hot water bottle on your back.
Sitting here with a sore back. That's not from
having not played.
That's not playing on the left at all.
That was from filming the other day where he said, "Oh, just throw him up a couple of smashes."
Yeah.
And then,
I don't think people realise, just a slight tangent here, how physical the filming is.
Yeah.
I mean, we were filming. I was 7 hours.
Testament.
I was 7 hours, like back to back on court filming.
No, I know.
So it is quite physical. And then at the end, they're like, "Oh, can we just film some top spin smashes?" Like having not warmed up. So I've only myself to blame.
To be fair though, you got a good shot of you hitting the smash, but what you don't see on the camera is you afterwards going,
oh my God. Yeah, and then the 3-hour drive back home from the venue. But anyway, enough about me.
Enough about your back.
Your tournament.
No, it was a great tournament. First time on the right with Chris Salisbury, who's the first time I ever played with him. And it was a great tournament. It was actually really nice to play on the right. It's so different to playing on the left, and I'd say slightly less physical. I think, overall we played 5 matches in a weekend. Normally when I play on the left, because I've done these tournaments before, played usually like 4 or 5 matches, or semis or final is where I try to be in those tournaments.
But before you go in there, let's just describe. So this is a UK tournament. Yeah. It's a UK tournament. It's a grade 2, so it's in tiers. Not that all the players play generally grade 1 and grade 2, but it's a lot of matches over a couple of days, isn't it? So it's 3 matches on the Saturday, followed by semis and final on the Sunday. Continue.
So this tournament was in the UK. It was in Slough at the Paddle Hub, and like you said, it's potentially 5 matches over a weekend. So the first 3 is first round, second round, quarters, and then semis and finals on the Sunday. And I think we've talked about this before, where typically in the UK with these tournaments, the first few matches are the level is quite I would say like differentiated. Like the seeded players, so the players that have FIP points. So normally the top seeds have FIP points or are quite highly ranked nationally, and outside of that there are other players from all over the country and they come and play. And so the first few rounds, typically if you're a seeded player, which Chris and I were, are not as strong a level, and then as you get into like the quarters, semis and finals, when all the seeds play each other, then it starts getting stronger. And so
but it is still quite physical playing 3 matches, even though the level is lower on those like on that first day. It's still
3 matches in a day is
3 to 4 hours on court, like on off, and it's not easy. That
it's really hard because you don't train for that. Like if we go and train, we talked a lot about we don't get to train as much as we'd like to, but if we do get to train, and that's a real like perk of my week, it's 2 hours in the morning and then it's done. And even if I go to Spain, it's like 2 hours, but when you play 3 matches in a day, it's super tough because you do a warm up, then you play, then you cool down, then you do a warm up, then you play, then you cool down, then you warm up, and that whole cycle of just the warming up, cooling down, and then give yourself 45 minutes and back on is really physical. But what I was saying is, playing on the left, I found it a lot more physical than when I was playing on the right this week. And fair play to Chris, he did a lot of running and a lot of covering through that middle, but I really felt a difference playing on the right. Personally, I really preferred it. We talked about it as well, that my backhand volley through the middle. I noticed, for me, I really like hitting that shot, and on the right you play that a lot more. And the overheads is slightly different. Obviously, you're not crossing so much to cover that middle like you do on the left. So, no, it was a really good weekend. We played a tough pair in the final. So we played a guy. We played Louis. So he's I think he's number 3 or 4 on the British team, Louis, and we played his Spanish partner, who I believe is ranked around 170 in the world. So really strong pair in the final. We were not expected to win that, but it was just a really tough match to come through. And we've talked about this before, where there's just not a lot in it, is there, in paddle matches? We came up against it. It really came down to a few points. We played the big points well, and we ended up coming through, I think it was 7-6, 6-4, but there's really like nothing in it, but we just managed to come through it.
Yeah, and I was watching, because it was streamed, so I was watching these games, and it is like those type of games are gritty. Like you just, if you've got grit and determination, you can end up getting through it. But I would say, like, watching you play on the right, I noticed how comfortable you are with that backhand volley, particularly that backhand volley down the middle. You keep it so low, they move into the back, like to defend back middle, and then you've set up with your volleys. And in a way, we talked about this before the podcast of, you know, the mentality of the overheads on the right is. You can feel restricted, I think, sometimes playing on the right. You're almost like you want to be more aggressive, but you feel a bit confined because you have less options with the overhead. But you can also look at it that it's simpler, that you literally, that lob goes up and you're either playing a gancho or a bandeja, and in few occasions you might play topspin or you might play an aggressive Weber or something like that. But the majority of those are sensible overheads into the side glass, you know, or towards that fence, or soft down the middle, and in a way, having less options is comforting, isn't it? Because that lob goes up, and you think, right, I'm just going to put it there, and I'll wait for my volleys, or put it there, wait for my volleys. My partner on the left has more of a responsibility to finish, and it's a different mindset, isn't it? Really, like I think to switch, to go from left side to right side, you've got to be happy with. I don't want to say being confined, but being simplified, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think for me, I've played so much on the left, and now coming to the right, I think I've probably brought a bit of that mentality of being a bit more aggressive as a volleyer on the left to the right side game, and I really noticed that. I mean, Chris has got a good smash, and he's got good overheads, he can finish well, but I really felt that being on the right, and I was quite aggressive with my volleys and really put pressure on the other side. Like if they went either to me at the net or through that middle for my backhand volley, I think I was really able to put immediate pressure on them, and I think it really helped Chris that, because it helps just sets it up easier for him to finish. I feel like if you have someone on the right that isn't doing that is a bit more passive and is not stinging those volleys, then it's quite tough for the left side to finish. Obviously you do get chances, but either the chance comes 3 or 4 balls later, or you try and finish on a ball that isn't really...
Or it's a half chance, and then you make a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's funny, I think, you know, we talked about before, and over the course of, like, you learning, but everyone learning on the left side, it's almost like we talked about, like, what are the patterns of play? And I feel like on the left side, there is almost more options. So in a way it's more confusing. You think, oh, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, but when it comes to the right side, it's almost those options are narrowed, partly with the overheads, but even at the back of the court, you know, you're using your forehand a lot of the time to defend there, and so it's almost like less options means your pattern of play choices are simpler and therefore easier for you to execute. You don't get a lot of players, and this is all levels, right, from beginner right the way up, is you almost have too many things going on in your mind of what could possibly happen, rather than thinking, right, I'm going to play the ball here and I'm going to play the ball here, you know, and then and simplifying it. And I think that in itself reduces errors. Yeah,
and I think it's also interesting when you play against Spanish players, because they're used to playing other Spanish players in their country and internationally, and I think there's a certain style to the way that the Spanish play. They're very slow, like patient. They take their time. They're not necessarily rushing to get to net, and they're not kind of just trying to smother the net too much. And I think something that really helped on the weekend was we've come from tennis, and I loved getting to net, and I love getting into that situation where I'm playing volley fast to a net player because I feel like my reactions are good and I feel like I can take advantage of that. And so I think it's difficult for Spanish players sometimes to play ex-tennis players or perhaps paddle players from emerging markets, because we like to play fast and we like to rush them, and they're not used to that. They're probably used to playing against players, particularly on the right side, that give them more time. It's more of a chess game where they're trying to play soft and try and take their time. And I think probably that's quite a good tactic when you do come up against those Spanish players that aren't used to it, is to try and put your game onto them a little bit. And I think that probably helped as well.
Well, I think if you think about it, you and I in our tennis careers played a lot of doubles.
Yeah.
And even, in that, there's lots and lots of times where you're doing volleys and you're doing volley to volley and fast reactive volleys. So we have got a volume of experience doing that. So even actually when we did it with Chingotto, and he's like the fastest volleyer like on the tour, I felt like we could just about hold our own. He was rapid, but still we could hold our own. It wasn't like if someone was doing those volleys to us at the back, we would we would really be struggling at that pro level, given the speed and everything like that. But at the volley, we've got that experience. So when you come against these Spanish guys, that's not something that they've got more experience than us as tennis players. And it goes back to a lot of what we talk about with our clinics and our paddle holidays and training is like, yes, we know you got to get to net. Like that is an advantage, whether you're from tennis or not. It's the objective of the point. But then don't rush there, because it's very tempting to just chip and charge and put yourself out of position, because the volleys you're talking about are from a good net position, probably one step inside that second post and volleying from there. You're not talking about hitting a chip slice and then coming in and then being caught in that zone in the middle, because from there it's not so easy to do that. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that while we're encouraging everyone to come forward and volley fast. It's be patient, choose the right ball to come in, and then get yourself into that fast volley position.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about timing. We don't want everyone listening to this to start net rushing on.
No. I mean, I was just thinking there when we were doing that with Chingotto, and it was, great experience, right? Because he's such a lovely guy, and I mean, incredible reactions, lovely volleys.
Yeah.
It made me think of the defending Paquito's Cuchilla, which we've just put up as a reel, a few days ago, and I don't think that people watching that video can appreciate the speed of that Cuchilla. I remember playing at a Futures in tennis, and it was against a guy called Sam Groff, who at the time held the record for the fastest serve, and I was playing him on grass, right? And I think it was about 140 miles an hour, like it was a rocket that was coming down, and I felt like Paquito's Cuchilla was faster than that. Because of the distance, it wasn't faster. He wasn't hitting it faster than 140 miles an hour. But because the distance is about 8-10 meters versus the length of a tennis court, I would stand way back on the tennis court, and therefore I've got about 25 meters to react. Whereas that was coming so incredibly fast. It was like,
But for me, it wasn't just the speed; it was the disguise. Like I've never been at the net and kind of felt not unsafe, but thought, I literally have no idea where this ball is going to go.
You're like, this could hit me between the eyes. I genuinely
I don't think I could get my racket up quick enough to get it out of the way. I'm just really glad he didn't aim for our body.
Well, when he said before, he said, do you want me to aim at the body or into the spaces? And we said,
let me check my health insurance.
We said, aim for the spaces, not knowing it was that fast. I faced fast Bajadas in my time. But not thinking it was that fast, and I'm so glad we said that, because that would have he definitely would have hit us.
Aim for his body, but
aim for his body, but on my side, lots of distance, please.
Better for content.
Better for content.
No, but that was incredible, and
it was all with the positioning in the wrist, and he could so easily go one side or the middle or your side, and you just couldn't tell, and it was so fast, and it was. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with that.
So if you haven't seen that reel yet, go check it out.
If you haven't seen that reel, go and check it out.
Well. Struggling.
And it was also like you're almost the video was courtside in a way, so you got a better impression. You can't see the ball, but you got a better impression of the speed for sure. We went on a bit of a tangent there, but I mean, so obviously now next tourney, I don't know when it is, but you're flying high. Yeah. And yes, so what would be your focus in the next tournament for your right side? Like, if you're going to play your next tournament now, what are you going to work on to make yourself better as a player or from that right side?
I think defending in that corner for me, because it's slightly different. The left spent so long training defending from overheads in that corner. I feel quite comfortable defending volleys in that corner, but defending overheads from different parts of the court, for me, it's still a new side. I feel very comfortable at the net. I feel the overheads feels fine. I think
it's very different on that side.
Yeah.
As in the reaction, right? Like, left side, if someone hits a vibra, it's going down that 2-foot channel down by the side of the glass, right? Whether it hits back glass first or side glass, it normally kicks and it goes into that channel. Like, it's easier. I find it easier to defend on the left side, even though it is the backhand. Whereas on the right side, if it clips the side glass, it kicks in towards you, or if it clips the back glass, it kicks forward. Yeah. And those two rebounds or responses are really different. Yeah. So you can move to one and it can hit the other and you're completely out of position. So I think it's more difficult defending vibras and overheads on the right hand side. And I think it's also one of those, it just takes volume, doesn't it? Like, you just need to see it go in and go, oh, that one should have been there, or that one I need to be there, and then you build up a database of or data to make those decisions. Yeah, and it's the theme of our theme on our member challenge this month on our platform. Yeah. So and we say to players, they're sending in their video, so it's thepadelschool.com. We have a membership platform, and every month we do a member challenge. This month is defence, so helping our members become solid defenders from the back. And we say it there, don't we? They send in their videos, we give them tips on how to become better defenders, but a massive part of it is volume and reading, and it's really difficult, isn't it, to do this in a match situation. We say this a lot, don't we, that it's really difficult to improve aspects of paddle if you just play matches. So you have to have that coaching, you have to have that training, and this is a classic example, isn't it, where you just need volume. Yeah, and I think the way that the challenge is set up, so I think we're 11 videos over the course of the month, and the first few are on just the real simple basics that apply for back glass, the return of serve, but also double glass, in that it's early preparation with the racket, get that racket back, and then make sure your movement gets you behind the ball. Yeah. And I think if you can get that on the easier balls, it makes the double glass much easier. You still need to do that, and then you think, right, where is that ball coming out? And we often say, particularly with a double glass, like, make a decision. Yeah. Like, it's either going to go into one space where side glass it kicks middle, or it's going to go down that line, but make a decision, go for it. If you make the wrong decision, that's fine, you're adding to the database. Yeah. Whereas if you just volley it, block it, you don't even get to see it at all. Yeah. Or if you just stand like a deer in the headlights, it goes in the corner and then you scoop it back, then again, you've not really added that data to your internal database. So I think it's really important to make that decision. Yeah, and it's something that you can train with two people, isn't it? You don't need four people. You don't necessarily need a coach feeding you. You can have a ball machine. Or a ball machine. We use the ball machine a lot for that, right? Yeah. Like it's and actually what we propose in the challenge, one of the videos is around, like, you can practice the movements at home, and so much of it is muscle memory. Like, you almost imagine it in a corner, the ball coming in, you let it pass close by you, and then you step forward, or you step away, and it's those muscle movements and memory that you need to get into a habit. And ball machine is, we like using that because it's predictable. It's actually easier to train the glass as a double glass with a ball machine than it is for a coach. Yeah. Like, because they send the same ball in every time. We are accurate feeders, right? Like, as coaches, I pride myself on the accuracy of my feeding, and there's no way that I could compete with the ball machine, which can just put it in the same spot 100 times. Yeah. So actually, really, it's a great tool to use that. I think, but that's exactly what our monthly membership is on, is defending that glass, and like you said, it's a core part of either side, left or right side. You need to be able to do it. Yeah, and there's lots of ball machines out there, aren't there? And we've got a discount on Slinger ball machines, and we've also got a course on our platform to show players how to use a Slinger. So if you are interested, we'll put something in the show notes. Yeah, well, I mean, the discount code is TPS10, so you get 10% off, and we like Slinger because it's simple, and it provides all of the shots that you need to practice. Now, I know there are more advanced machines out there that can do different patterns and drills and things like that. But I mean, we're using it purely mainly from a technical perspective, working on your technique. So we're happy with it. We like it. And yeah, like you said, we've got a PDF and we've got the videos to back that up. And actually some of the videos are double glass, how to defend the double glass with the machine. So, I think that's useful for players.
But yeah, going back to what you said, so I think for me, I will play the next tournament on the right. And I know you want to play your next tournament on the left. So
just wait for my back.
Should we refill that hot water bottle?
Yeah. I would love to play on the left. I've got no excuses. I need to get in really good shape and turning.
It's like a cry for help.
I know. Any personal trainers out there that want to assist? No, but I mean it's tough that, like, you're 8 years younger than me, but every year, and this is not an excuse, it just feels like it's you've just got to work that little bit harder. And you know,
mental.
Well, and also what our life is like with the paddle school, right? Like, it's a lot of travel at the moment. It's going to different places, like 7 hours on court filming. You're exhausted to go and do a workout after that. I know you're smiling at me like these are just excuses. Yeah. It is just excuses. There's no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to play on the left, but I'm not going to do that until I'm a bit more, physically fitter and in shape, I'd say.
All right, I'll sign us up.
But when I am, watch out. Yeah.
It's the vaguest response ever. What am I supposed to do with that? When I'm feeling fitter and in shape, we'll play.
I thought you were going to say the Vegas tournament is coming up. And there is a tournament in Vegas, but it's in like 6 days. Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't think it works like that.
Get in shape, 6 days? There must be a program out there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Best shape of your life.
Best shape of your life. Well, I ordered an ice bath yesterday. Okay. Like, that's how keen I'm getting. So
that's how stiff I'm getting.
Yeah, that's how stiff.
Just pop myself in there.
Yeah. I need it for my day to day.
But no, we've got some exciting trips coming up, haven't we? So we're going to Portugal
on Monday
next week.
That'll be really fun with the Femme group. We love working with the Femme group. I mean, they're a lot of fun. They're super organised, and yeah, I'm excited to take that group away. It's going to be in the Algarve at La Quinta. So that'll be good. And like we always say, I really enjoy these trips because I think we're there with like 8 sessions or something like that, split over those days, and you really get to nail it down. We do some match analysis. It's always a positive experience, that. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's so satisfying as a coach to see the transformation from day 1 to day 4, and for us, it feels like a long time, but it's a relatively short time, isn't it? Those 4 days, but we pack so much improvement into those days that you can really see the difference from day 1 to day 4, and you go away, and like we had on our last trip, we play matches at the end of that trip, and we see players reading the game better, using the glass, building confidence. So it is really nice to see that as a coach, and probably a nicer. Could it be a nicer place in the world, that down in La Quinta? I mean, it is. We're at the campus.
We're sitting here now, just lapping up this sunshine. But yeah, you're right. It is lovely. It's a great venue. It's just a really nice little setup. We'll do an exhibition match with the local coaches. So I need my back to be all right for that. You could be playing both sides.
On the left. Yeah. Oh, both sides. Yeah,
back on the left. Yeah, but hopefully I'll be fine by then. I'm feeling. I'm on the way up now.
I feel like we might get a few comments coming in of pain medication or suggestions of how bad back.
Yeah, exactly. Or walking stick.
I feel like we need them. We need all the suggestions. We can get.
No, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the Femme. Going back to the Femme, it's a great community, isn't it? It's a female community, and they're doing so much, not just in the UK. The group we're taking away, I think, is mainly UK based because there's a Femme in the UK, but they're doing so much across the world, and they're going into lots of different countries now and helping grow female participation in paddle. So it's great to be part of it, and like you said,
it's really important for clubs. Like this is where I look back at like the growth of paddle in Sweden. I remember it from its infancy, and I think the time that the female participation increased in Sweden was really the point of inflection. Really, the big boom came from that, and I just think it is super important because they do it as a group and as a team, and they bring families, and if you are a club owner or club manager, I highly recommend, you know, kind of pushing that side of things.
Yeah.
So Tom, a lovely podcast again. We should probably film another one from Portugal. I know that's putting pressure on us to find the time to do that, but if not from Portugal after the trip, then, you know, hopefully on another lovely day here.
Yeah, and hopefully by then the hot water bottle will be gone. You'll be fresh.
You keep banging on about this hot water bottle.
I just love it. I just love the fact you've got hot water bottle on your back.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna just pop that down. It's actually pretty cold now, so it's more of it's a placebo. It's a placebo
just a prop.
effect. yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but Sandy, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great weather. Pleasure to have you. Well, to have
you on your podcast.
Have you here with us. No, it's been awesome as always, and we'll enjoy Portugal and we'll get back.
And let us know down in the comments if there's anything you'd like us to discuss.
Yeah.
More than happy to.